I'm gonna show you 2 different TikToks, okay? Just bear with me. This is number 1. Okay, now number 2. Okay, now both at the same time. Now, what did you notice when you watched those? No, not that the first one is terrible to watch and can barely get through, or that any chance I get, I put Moist Critical in any of my videos. You gotta pay attention. I'll show you one more time. Now speed it up. Now both at the same time. Now green screen elephant effect.
Elephant green screen effect.
Both videos have Deftones songs in them. If you've ever been on TikTok, especially from the year of our Lord and Savior, 2020, to now, you'll find a die-hard TikTok Deftones fan, where their only content is whatever this is. Then you'll find a 40-year-old Deftones fan that all they talk about is how good the 90s were. Now, I'm all for it. Not this thirst trap weird TikTok videos.
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
But the 40-year-old man reminiscing about how gas was $1 a gallon and the Jinkos he used to wear and the divorce that ruined his family. Now, all this to say, I am a big Deftones fan. I know, cat's out of the bag. But I didn't get into them from TikTok. In a way, I grew up with it. My dad liked Deftones, where on the other hand, my mom didn't. So when they called it quits on their relationship, it felt like she kept it away. Plus, I had a girlfriend some years back and she hated them. So for a while, I did too. Until we broke up and I was like, let me see what these guys are talking about. Let me see about this grown man that only knows how to moan into a microphone. And let's say I was blown away. My first album I ever listened to was Saturday Night Wrist. I've heard some songs off of Around the Fur, Diamond Eyes, and White Pony, but I couldn't tell you anything about those albums or even the band at that time. But I took a deep dive and fell in love with the music and the band itself. It's been years since then, and now they're my #1 band. I saw them live. I got multiple vintage Deftones shirts. Went to the private music release listening party. Got like 50 of these posters. Plus, one side of my room is just a bunch of Deftones stuff. Plus, I know multiple songs on the guitar. But if you talk to a Deftones fan, they'll always ask one question. Oh, what's your favorite album? And in that moment, they'll rather see you as a calm, down-to-earth dude who likes music and just listen to these cats swinging, or a TikTok weirdo that only makes thirst traps with the same 3 songs on TikTok. Now, there's also a third option. You might say the wrong album, and they will shoot you. I've asked myself countless times, what is my favorite, and what do I consider the best Deftones album? So, I re-listened to most of them, and made a list from worst to best, all in my opinion. Now, we'll be ranking these albums by song selections, music, sound, where was the band at this time, and replay value, because I feel an album ain't solely based on the songs. It's the feel and the time frame of everything, and what was happening during the making. I don't know how long this will take, so strap in. Also, like and subscribe, please and thanks. 9 times out of 10, this will be copyrighted, so hooray! Now, we'll be going through the 10 studio albums. No one-off songs like Can't Even Breathe or Teething or any other music off of movies. And we won't be talking about like Linus, the B-sides, or even the covers. Solely album material, the main 10. Now, let's start with number 10. To state, I don't think any of these albums are solely bad at all, but this album and the song selection just lacked something. Ohms was released September 20th of 2020, middle of the pandemic, and it feels like it shows in this album. The songs on this album are just run-of-the-mill. Nothing major was happening in the band besides COVID, so it's not like anything stopped the band from doing what they have to do. They just played it safe, I feel, and called it a day. The band took 4 years after Gore to come out with this, and yes, at times it's better than Gore, but it still just feels bleh and is missing something. The guitars felt really good. Stefan did a really good job, I'll give it to that, but the whole album felt like a usual Deftones record, just stuck with the bread and butter. The last part of the album is good, while the beginning is a slow just suffer, so it's at the bottom. This album is two-sided. A lot of fans shit on this album, while also a lot of the community love it. But when I say a lot of people shit on this album, I mean so many people. Gazillion dollars worth. For me, this isn't it, and part has to do how the writing process was. We all know by now Stefan didn't have much to do with this album. Yes, he wrote some songs, but he wasn't fully engaged, and the album feels like a Chino album. Feels like the band took the backseat while Chino took the head stage and did everything himself. Now, Ohms surpassed this album, but for me, this is somewhat better. I come back to songs on this album like Elmire or Hearts and Wires, but besides that, the album doesn't stand out completely. Steph's guitar playing wasn't him, and Chino's guitar playing was basically all him and all that he wanted in this album. They got Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, which is pretty dope, but the album overall was a letdown. Being the first Deftones album and holding all that new metal 90s rage, perfect. I wouldn't skip a second of this album. Now, you might be wondering, it's at an 8. Why is it here? To be honest, Deftones has such a wide and good catalog of music, it's hard to place. Being the first album, they had changes and improvements that show, so it just kind of had to be done. This album was their first album on Maverick Records, Madonna's record label, and they would continue to stay on Maverick Records to this day. Being 1995, they played into the rock rap aesthetic. You can tell a lot on Engine Number 9, but this album changed heavy metal and is a big factor in shaping that new metal genre. A year earlier, Korn released their debut album, which the band took a lot of inspo from, and Korn took a lot of inspo from them. I mean, Chino and Head would exchange demos, so they've been listening to each other since the start of each other's bands. The band toured a lot around this time, and to be honest, these are some of my favorite lives to watch and listen to. This is the era where Chino was doing his signature cat scream, if you know what I mean. But it sounds good. The songs on this album are, in a way, just copies of each other, but they are totally different. It's weird to explain, but if you understand, you understand. I hate for it being this low because it's amazing, but it just had to be done. This is the band's most recent album, and the one since being older I could experience in its entirety. All from the night it dropped, the listening parties, and even the tour they went on. I did it all, and I loved it, and I love this album. This album has such an amazing replay value and is such a big step up from Ohms. The guitar is mesmerizing, same with the lyrics and Chino's voice throughout this whole record. Some songs feel like they go on for a little bit longer than they should, but it's totally fine. The album overall felt like part 2 of Koi no Yokan, so you can kind of get a feel of how that is if you listened to Koi before. Also, let's talk about the album cover. How dope is this album cover? Deftones always had just such an amazing album covers, and this doesn't fall short of any of them. The album came out in 2 different colorways, while also the vinyl had multiple different vinyl colors, which is also pretty dope. They also gave out demo vinyls at the listening parties whenever they happened, but they were 1 per store, and it was a contest to get it. But guess who won it? Not me. Someone in my city has it, and yes, I remember their face. This album has no skips. It's slow when it wants to be slow, and it's aggressive when it wants to be. Plus, the band was in good shape around this time. I mean, yes, Sergio wasn't part of this record. He ended up leaving around 2021-ish, but they got a new bassist, Fred Sablo. He is an amazing bassist, and part of this band, he's just perfectly fit in. You can hear the bass throughout this whole record, and it doesn't fall short on any of the other instruments. The tour was amazing. I saw them in Kansas City, and when I say I could die now, I mean that. I've looked forward to seeing Deftones live for a while, and I was so happy I was able to. They are one of the only bands that can sound better live than how they sound on the record. Some standout songs I always come back to on this record are Souvenir and I Think About You All the Time. Those were my number 1 picks as soon as I listened to this record. They have a lot of other good songs on this, but those are the main 2. But overall, this album is just perfect. let's be fair, this album lacks a bit. But this album does have some bangers. I mean, I re-listened to it, and dude, this album is stacked. Hole in the Earth, Cherry Ways, Kim Dracula, Beware, and Rivera as the closer, just blessing to my ears. It was a hard choice between this and Diamond Eyes for the 6th spot, but Diamond Eyes is just stronger. Let's all agree to that. But this album is also the album that almost broke the band. A lot of people rather know this, don't know this, or just forget, but Chino was going through a weird phase at the time. He was focusing on his side project, Team Sleep, which honorable mention because, oh my god, Team Sleep is so amazing, such a great album. Anyone has any vintage merch or CDs, hit me up, I will buy them. But focusing on Team Sleep kept pushing the deadline of this album back and back. Chino was also doing hard drugs at the time, started hating his friends, which is a line in Hole in the Earth, and was just pushing this album away. But after some setbacks in time, they got it done and it released on Halloween of 2006. This album is just perfect, head to toe, besides one track, which we all know what track I'm talking about. But this album was the end of the Deftones' Dark Days era. Overall, the album feels like a heavy storm and you're just slowly moving through it, hoping to survive. Then you make your way out of the storm on the other side and just appreciate everything around you even more. Chino also finalized his divorce around this time with his ex-wife he's been with since high school, and he put a lot of pain into this album. This band also put a lot of anger into this album, and it mixed perfectly. This is also the last record Chi was on, which is sad. They would go on to the Family Values tour with Korn in 2006 after some time of both of the bands kind of hating each other. It was mainly just petty beef between Chino and Jonathan Davis, but it went great. I mean, it's Family Values, of course it would go great, but also Duran Gray was on this tour, which is pretty dope. If anyone has any 2006 Family Values vintage shirts, I will buy those also. Lastly, let's talk about the merch around this time. I've been fascinated and in love with the vintage merch from the Saturday Night Wrist era. It's on a different level, to the point where parking lot bootlegs are somewhat better than official merch and is selling for over $1,000. This album is great in every way. I ended up buying an original pressing of this album on CD. This album got me through a sloppy breakup, so it would always hold a major part in my heart. Oh shit, bars. Major part in... We are in the top 5. So what we'll do now is put a Chino meter. Everybody, round of applause. The Chino meter will express my love for this album, so keep an eye out for that. Diamond Eyes is a strange case, to say the least. The band recorded Eros, the lost album that has never been released besides some studio footage and one full song, but Chi ended up getting into a car crash, paralyzing him, so the band couldn't release it or even finish it all the way through. The band brought Sergio to play bass, and the band made a whole new album, picking some songs off the lost album while also making a whole bunch more. Even with this album being somewhat rushed, you can't tell at all when listening. Chino shedded the weight that he picked up off of the self-titled in the Saturday Night Wrist era, stopped smoking a bit, and after the drag of the divorce, he picked himself up, and this Chino was a different human being. The song selection is close to perfect, and the guitars just pierce you and make you just stare off into nothing to focus on them. I feel this, or Koi, started the Deftones bread and butter sound. Compared to the Ohms bread and butter, this is high tier, different, innovative, new. This is bread and butter on a different level. This is shit you can't even pronounce. They did everything so perfectly and made such an unskippable album. It's just amazing. The main single off of this album, and what the album was named after, Diamond Eyes, is a punch in the face, but the glove smells like roses, and the glove also has a band-aid waiting for you. I know, weird way to say amazing, but I gotta prove a point somehow. Deftones always had an amazing album covers, and this one is one of the most iconic ones. The whole album is perfect beyond belief, especially being fast-tracked, and let's talk about a single song off this album that a lot of TikTok people love using. Sex Tape. If you ever been on TikTok, that's all I gotta say. You know about this song. I mean, I used it the first time in that video that I showed way in the beginning of this video. You want to see it again? Oh, okay, I'll show you. This album is the definition of prime, and it doesn't get better than this. So I might have fooled you. When I say it doesn't get better than this, I lied. I know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be doing that. But Koi no Yokan was a passionate album, the definition of the word love. The band was in amazing shape. After the success of Diamond Eyes, the band wanted to make something new. That was basically their victory lap from Diamond Eyes. Stepping out of the box and experimenting with sounds and different ways to write and compose this record. This whole album was the band being super communicative and inspired to make something amazing. The album's flows with love and passion just makes you feel heavenly throughout this whole thing. Makes you want to go outside and sit in a field and focus on nature. Sergio was a big standout on this album. Being the new bassist and only working on Diamond Eyes, he does an amazing job. His bass work flows in this album and is just definitely a big standout when you listen. Chino ended up getting remarried around this time. He carried that love and the feeling of the next part of his life into this project, making quite a bit of love songs and songs that feel so full of passion and songs you can just share and enjoy with a loved one. The title Koi no Yokan meaning knowing you're destined for love, knowing the destination of love will happen and will be at the end of the adventure. The band didn't stick with their textbook bread and butter that they made with the last album Diamond Eyes. This is different. The music changed a lot and it wasn't a familiar feel. I mean, I love it. I love the feeling it gives out. I love the love and positivity put into this album. The band shed its skin of loss and sadness and opened their minds to positivity and letting themselves know that the fact of life will end in a peaceful and hopeful way. This album is the word in the definition of love. Now, this will make some people mad or confused, but it has to be said. White Pony is number 3. Being the band's magnum opus, a lot of people stick with White Pony as their number 1 pick. A lot of people saying, oh, White Pony this, White Pony that. Yes, I listened to this album a lot. No songs skipped and just enjoying myself and enjoying each song. Once again, I bought a first pressing CD of this. The one with the pony in the corner of a gray backdrop. Not this one, but that one. Yes, I do love the red one though. Anyways, even with this, it's still not as strong as the other 2 albums coming up. This album is what blew the band into another era. Big venues, thousands of fans, and years of touring, and making their faces known to the world. But also Chino was facing a fracture in his marriage, and a lot of songs on this album are about his marriage. This is part of the start of his marriage falling apart, and he mixed a lot of his music with his life. Purpose hateful strikes to his at the time wife. A lot of songs are hateful speech while also knowing you love the person, talking about the toxic but addictive feels of a relationship, and most importantly, in Chino's marriage. He loved this girl, but deep down the word of love was blindsided by all the hate. He put it all into this album, releasing a raw sound with a slow and soft undertone. There are more faster, hard-hitting songs, but the slow songs in between give a great break and way to take it all in, just for it all to start over again. The ending track, Pink Maggot, is like the other tracks. They were a way to express dark love, hatred love, and making a statement to the one that hurts you. You love them, but any minute you won't take this anymore. But deep down, you can't stand to hurt them. But on the other end, you still give them free will to hurt you. This whole album is just a never-ending cycle of love and hate. Pink Maggot and the ending of this album is like a mix of all those love songs and all the aggressive songs in one. It's a final breaking point and enough of using the word love when love isn't there. Only thing I can say about this album is beautiful. Now, if you've seen anything about Deftones, it's definitely this album cover. Around the Fur is one of the most iconic covers in music history. This album has been around in my life more than I ever remember. If anyone knows anything about the Deftones vintage market, one of the most sought after shirts is the Around the Fur cover print. And when I talked to my mom years ago about buying some shirts, she mentioned it and how my dad used to have this shirt. She used to use it as a sleeping shirt, and one day it just needed to be thrown away. Let's just say part of me died. Part of me just exploded. What is up, Drama Nation? I'm your host. Just kidding, y'all. It's me. I'm just kidding. This is Future Nate, and I just wanted to say I went over to my dad's house, and you won't believe what I got and what I brought back home. Yes, the grail that I thought was thrown away and in a landfill. It was just in the closet at my dad's house, but now it's in my possession. It's here, it's safe. Calm down, I know. And I got some lore on it also. He bought it back when Deftones was doing their Around the Fur 1999 tour at a small venue in our town that we live. Plus, he still has the ticket stub. He still has the ticket stub from when he went, and then he has the ticket stub of when he went to the White Pony tour. And also found out when my mom was pregnant with me, she wore this shirt all the time. I basically grew up in this shirt. I'm glad it made a full circle, and I'm glad that I have it. That's enough from future me. Back to the video. But this album does the cover art justice. They mastered their craft with this album and was proud of it. This is Chino's favorite album, stating how it took them little to no time to make the whole album. The writing process was natural. The whole band just took their anger and put pen to paper, making a natural writing and music making environment. Besides White Pony, this is their most iconic album, with songs like My Own Summer, Be Quiet and Drive, and Mascara. Unfortunately, these songs are also the most TikTok songs ever, but even with that setback, this album put them on a bigger radar, giving them TV debuts and spreading their name. The band was on a consistent tour, just non-stop touring also around this time, and the tours and live shows around this time were also just pretty hype. When I watch rather the 1998 Pink Pop performance or the 1998 Bazaar Festival performance, I lose my shit. I go bananas.
1, 2, 3.
My name is Richard and I'm sitting in the corner. Sitting in the corner, playing my recorder.
My body just wants to move and never stop. These selections of songs are heavy, meaningful, and full of rage. But not the just say shit and make loud noise type of rage. Every word, every scream, every moan has a meaning in this album. And everything is just pain from Chino and the band. A common theme is Chino making songs about his ex-wife, and at the time wife. The song Mascara was about his ex-wife. His ex-wife did not care about his music or that he was in a band at all, pointing out a lot about her he doesn't like but is addicted to her anyways, restating it's too bad because she's married to him. She didn't care about the song, but Chino cared a lot. This is just one example of the pain and the meaning poured into these songs. Another big standout on this album is Abe's drumming. Abe is an amazing drummer, one of my favorites. This album, you can't help but focus solely on the drums. It's the definition of, quite literally, music to my ears. But this is just an amazing step up from Adrenaline. I don't think any of y'all would have guessed it, but if you did, good job, round of applause. The self-title is my favorite Deftones album. This album was overshadowed by White Pony and was just criminally shafted. Everyone who loved White Pony wanted the band to make another White Pony album, but when this came out, they were disappointed. The feeling change and the overall feeling of this album just threw people off, even though, in a way, this is just White Pony with more sadder and dark undertones. This was somewhat the beginning of the dark days of Deftones. I feel White Pony was the beginning, but this is just a major step of how dark the band was getting. Chino was in full swing of his drug addiction and his marriage was getting worse. The divorce wasn't fully set, but it was closer and on the table. In simpler terms, this is a breakup album. Every song on here is pain, misery with the word love over it. It's telling someone you love them when you're in pain and can't say anything else because you don't want them to go. This album helped, and I mean helped me a lot when I went through another rough breakup. I know, not a good look. 2 breakups. Yikes. Even with this album being sad and gut-wrenching, it picked me back up, and a lot of songs just helped. A lot of songs are heavy with attention to prove a point, not of anger or sadness, but one of misery and despair. In a way, it's a cry for help to the one that you love to not leave, but if they stay, you'll still be miserable being with them. A never-ending cycle of love, hate, and misery. It's the same themes that White Pony gave off, but just huge and bigger and worse. Chino, with his hard drug use plus improper screaming, messed up his vocals a lot. He would fuck his voice up all the way in Saturday Night Wrist, but this is the start of it all. Chino's pain helped make this album what it is today. His voice is cracking and giving up, but his passion and love mixed with hate is pushing it forward so he can make the point that he wants to make. For a breakup album, it's very heavy, which I love. There are one or two slow spoken songs, but majority is heavy with the guitar acting as another way to just cry for help. This album was in C standard, I think C sharp standard, which was never before played in an album. They've only stayed with drop C. It's a different tone and really just feels like it fits with this album a lot. But majority of the songs on this album is heavy. Every song bleeds into each other and paints an amazing picture of what Chino and a lot of people are going through in their life. Now, I want to focus on a turning point in this album where it threw me off guard when I first listened to it years ago, especially with all the heaviness in this album. The song Anniversary of an Uninteresting Event. The title shows the picture of this song. Love so tainted by hate, where the biggest day of a relationship, the anniversary, is seen as just another day, nothing special, and an uninteresting event. The song structure itself makes you break down and just wonder. The piano in the beginning and throughout the song just makes you feel lost while also feel comfortable. This is a song I just stare and think about life, and even if the topic isn't love or broken relationships, it makes you ponder on life whenever the song plays. I wish they ended the album on the song, but I am also happy they didn't. It goes from something so heavy as Bloody Cape to Anniversary, a soft spoken and vulnerable song, into Moana, something in between of anger and sadness. And it's like being so mad at a person but remembering you're in love with this person. The love you hold for this person is on a higher pedestal than the one you hold for yourself. You open up to this person and break down just to get pushed away, and remembering who this person actually is. So you close yourself up and you say goodbye. Having that pain, but knowing this is the outcome it had to be. So you both can leave this cycle of just pain and hatred. I might be looking too deep, but anyone can interpret it music how they want to, but that's how I interpret it. This is another rushed Deftones album. The due date kept getting pushed back and pushed until Maverick said enough and made them release this. So they did. But like with the other rushed albums, you can't tell it at all with this one. Being one of the most underrated Deftones album throughout their whole catalog, it holds so much pain and emotion and hope that you can't help but feel the same way while listening. It makes you think from beginning to end, and it's a beautiful masterpiece of an album, and it deserves to be number one. Once again, I have a first pressing, and it's one of my favorites in my collection of CDs. Even with how sad and the tones of this album, it is still just perfect. Now, as I said before, this is all my opinions. Y'all might have different ones, so yeah, I would love to hear y'all's opinions on what albums you agree with, what albums you don't agree with. What are y'all's favorite albums? I would love to know. Yeah, that's all from me. I got another band in mind for another album ranking video, so like and subscribe. Keep a lookout for that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and like always, have a wonderful day or night, and I will see y'all later.